Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a video. It's in response to Full-Time Devils. They did a video on starting lineups. Putting that in the comment section of that video, like a link to this YouTube video. I'm also putting it up on my channel, obviously, so that I can link it in the first place. So wherever you're watching from, I was going to do this video anyways. Figured I would go ahead and put it in video form in the comment section because that way I can at least explain certain decisions in the video. And so, wherever you're watching from, this is Manchester United's lineup for this season. What I think it should be under Louis Van Gaal, and obviously he doesn't he likes his little 5-3-2 formation. I don't think that's going to work. I think it needs to change as soon as possible. And if it doesn't change, then Man U could finish as low as 8th or ninth because 5-3-2 does not suit them at all. Because you don't have any wingbacks at all in the team. The closest thing to a wingback would probably be Raphael, actually. But so 5-3-2 doesn't really work out that well. I think that the 4-1-2-1-2 or even a 4-4-2, either way, it just depends on which players are fit. At the moment, Van Persie is injured, but for this, we're just assuming everyone in the squad is fit. And so we'll start off with the positives in the team, the attack. And it's the FIFA ratings aren't that important. That's just kind of to get an idea of how I would rank the squad, sort of. Di Maria and Van Persie, I think, are probably the best two players in the squad. Then Falcao and Rooney after that, and then Mata. But anyways, I got Van Persie and Falcao up top. Pretty easy decision. Van Persie, when he's fit, I think he had a decent season last season. He had a lot of injuries. He was kind of similar to Aguero. But I don't think he is quite as good as he was back when he played for Arsenal, or as he was in his first season at United. But I still think he gets a starting spot, and I think he could do well this season. Uh, and I'm actually sure if he's confirmed that he'll be out for like 3 months or whatever. I don't know how that has developed, but Falcao is fit. Just came from Monaco, and he's pretty much all right to play right now, and he's a pretty good striker. I wouldn't say that they should have he's on loan, but so I guess he wasn't that expensive. If they do sign him, I don't know. It depends on how good he does this season, whether he's worth the price tag uh, next transfer window, because they have the option to buy. But anyways, Falcao in there. Berbatov had a better goal scoring record than him at Monaco, but I don't really think Manchester United is definitely a better team than Monaco, and I think he'll get support from Rooney, Di Maria, maybe even a few crosses from Mata on the left, and I think that he could do pretty good this season. And then Rooney in that offensive mid role. Rooney was probably Manchester United's best player last season, so I put him at offensive mid because most of last season that is where he played, and he didn't do as well there as certain previous seasons. He stood very well in that position. And then Mata, I think, is best out on the left. Back in his Valencia, I think it was either Valencia or Sevilla. I didn't really watch him back then too much, but when I did watch him, he played as a winger. Then when he went to Chelsea, he started off as a winger, and he was just so good in that position. He eventually moved up to a cam. He got a little bit less playing time. Eventually left Chelsea for Manchester United, and I think that he should be back out on that left-hand position, mainly so you can fit all these players, all these amazing attacking players in the same team. But Di Maria out on the right is the next player, and Di Maria can play center mid, or right wing. Those are his positions. Wouldn't put him out on the left wing. Would not ever put him in the wing back position, like in the current 3-5-2. Well, 5-3-2 that looks like a 3-5-2 when you set it up, but he's not a wingback in any way. But I'd say he's probably at his best in the center mid role from Real Madrid, but that's because Real Madrid has such a good defense as well that Di Maria, he didn't have to defend too much. He can defend, but he didn't have to too much. So that's why he worked well in that center mid role. I think out of the right mid spot in this Manchester United team, he has less responsibilities defensively, but again, he can still get back when needed. So I think he's slightly better out on the right for Manchester United. And then Daily Blend, along with Falcao, a deadline day transfer. I think Herrera and him should fight for that spot, but I think he should start there for now. Van Hall knows how he plays, and I think he'll probably earn a starting spot either in defensive mid and center back, something along those lines. Just because Van Hall likes him, he said it before, and obviously liked him in his Holland side. And then Luke Shaw at left back, and they obviously don't have another left back like Blackgate, I guess, can play there, but I don't really think that he's starting team material. And Luke Shaw, I think ever should have stayed. Man, you should have kept him in, and then they could have played like 50% games each, him and Patrice Evra. But he was expensive. I think that he does deserve a starting spot, and especially just like to pay that like price. You don't pay that much for a bench player. But in this formation, he's the starting left back, and then Rojo and Jones in the center back positions. You could go, there's also Smalling and Johnny Evans, but I think Jones and Rojo are probably the two best center backs. But this defense in all is pretty woeful for a Premier League team, like a Premier League top four team. And on that matter, I think Man U are going to finish sixth, maybe fifth this season if they play their cards right. But again, with the 5-3-2, I think eighth or ninth. It all depends on the formation, really. But anyways, the last center back, or the last right defender, the last defender is going to be Raphael. And he didn't, he's not, he hasn't really hit his stride yet, but I think he does deserve a starting spot. Valencia obviously played right back before, but I think Raphael probably deserves that spot. He's still pretty young. He's still got time to develop, and this is a transitioning period for Manchester United. So you might as well play him there, get him some experience. Maybe he'll start to develop a little bit more. Um, so I think he deserves that starting spot. And then obviously David De Gea in goal, by far their best option for goalkeeper. And probably I'd say there's only two goalkeepers better than him in the Premier League, and they both play for the same team, Cech and Courtois. But in a couple seasons, I think De Gea will probably be, him and Courtois both, probably the best two goalkeepers in the world, let alone the Premier League. They'll probably be the best two in the world. Maybe 3 seasons or so, maybe even two. Courtois, I'd say, is probably the best goalkeeper currently. A couple people criticizing De Gea, different times, different time periods. But he's came out like him and Lindegaard used to have to fight up for that spot, but now it's not really an issue. And De Gea is definitely the starting goalkeeper over any of other Manchester United's other options. So, anyways, that is the starting 11. And then for cup matches, I would say, that's when you can play experiment with maybe Smalling or Johnny Evans. So far in the first couple games for Manchester United, Jones has been the best out of Smalling, Jones, Smalling, and Johnny Evans. Rojo's played one game, I think. Pretty sure he's only played one. He had an alright game, I guess. You can't really get anything from one game. 3 games even. But still, I'd say that Jones is probably the best center back at Manchester United currently. But anyways, like I said earlier, Herrera and Blend can fight for that position. Maybe even get Carrick in there. Switch to the 4-4-2 maybe. But other than that, I think the rest is pretty clear. That it should be those players in those positions. So anyways, that is the starting 11. That'll be the end of the video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.